The following question is concerning a hadith that is normally mentioned in Ramadan. We know that Satans are locked down and chained in Ramadan, but how come we still see a lot of evil and sorcerers and magicians in the TV shows and all of that? Aren't they supposed to be locked down and not free in Ramadan? Well, the hadith which you're referring to is a sound hadith. It is indeed collected by Imam Bukhari and Muslim. And in this hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, إِذَا دَخَلَ رَمَضَانَ فُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجَنَّةِ وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ جَهَنَّمَ وَسُلْسِلَةِ الشَّيَاطِينَ. Once Ramadan approaches, once it is the first night of Ramadan, all the gates of heaven will be open wide and all the gates of hell will be closed, and Satans will be chained and locked down. What is the meaning of Satan be chained and locked down? In another hadith collected by Imam Nasa'i, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned specifically صُفِّدَتْ سُلْسِلَةْ مَرَدَةُ الشَّيَاطِينَ, the most wicked of Satans. Not all Satans, but the most wicked. In order to give the believers a chance to experience peace of mind, enjoy their worship. But it doesn't mean that all Satans are chained. Only the most violent, the most wicked of all of them. Add to that, brothers and sisters, it is not only Satans who whisper to us and make us commit sins or indulge into bad deeds. No, there is the worldly temptations, there is the inner desire. وَمَا أُبَرِّئُ نَفْسِي إِنَّ النَّفْسَ لَأَمَّارَةٌ بِالسُّوءِ إِلَّا مَا رَحِمَ رَبِّي إِنَّ رَبِّي غَفُورٌ رَحِيمٌ. In Surah Yusuf, beautiful ayah was said, Allah is recounting what the first lady in Egypt who tried to seduce Yusuf ﷺ said, I do not hold myself innocent. Indeed, oneself is inclined into evil. So there is an inner desire, there are Satans, and there is the worldly temptations. All of that would be reduced in Ramadan in order to give the believers a chance to do better. Let's take a short break and we'll be back inshallah in a couple of minutes for some more. Stay tuned. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome back, my dear brothers and sisters. The first question in this segment is really an interesting question. The questioner here is saying that he's diabetic and he's living with diabetes where he has to take insulin and other medications, pills for diabetes. So he's advised by his doctor not to fast at all. So his question is not about being permitted not to fast, because this is known. His question is that since Allah the Almighty promised that there is a gate in heaven which is known as Ar-Rayyan, and this gate is exclusively for the fasting believers, does it mean that I will be deprived from entering Al-Jannah from this gate because I'm not fasting? To be very honest with you, brothers and sisters, I love this question and I appreciated it so much. First of all, the hadith says, إِنَّ فِي الْجَنَّةِ بَابًا يُقَالُ لَهُ الرَّيَّانِ يدخل منه الصائمون ولا يدخل منه أحد غيرهم فإذا دخلوا أغلق دونهم. That's a sound hadith, which means there is one of the gates of heaven. Al-Jannah has 8 gates. 8 gates. One of them is in the name of Ar-Rayyan, from Ar-Ray, which is quenching the thirst. It's like, a compensation because of long thirst while fasting. Now the name of the gate itself will be Ar-Rayyan, conquering the thirst. Allah the Almighty said this gate is exclusively for as-Sa'imun, for those who used to fast. Not only Ramadan, but those who fast on regular basis, voluntary fasting. So they fast beyond Ramadan as well. He rewards them by inviting them on the Day of Judgment to enter paradise from this gate. And he said, no one else will be able to enter paradise from this gate but them. And once they make it in, it will be closed. And maybe believers who have done very well in other areas but they will not get to enter Al-Jannah from this gate. It is exclusively for the fasting people. And to have this concern, it is truly a sign of faith. It is truly a sign of soft heart, a person who wants to enter Al-Jannah and he is concerned about why this gate is not for me. You know, one day the Prophet ﷺ was sitting with his companions and he said that Al-Jannah has 8 gates, and there is a gate for the fasting people, gate for the charitable, and another gate for this, and another gate for that. So people who excelled in a specific area, like the very charitable ones, they will be called upon to enter Al-Jannah from the gate of the sadaqah, the charity. People who fought for the sake of Allah in a legitimate war and they were martyred on a battlefield, they will be called upon to enter paradise from the gate of the martyrs. And the fasting people and so on. Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, may Allah be pleased with him, was one of the audience, and he asked the Prophet ﷺ a very interesting question. He said, "O Prophet of Allah, will there be any individual who will be called upon to enter Al-Jannah from all its gates?" Which means that this person have excelled in every area of worship. He is charitable, he is a mujahid, he is a devout worshipper, he is one of those who used to fast very often, volunteer fasting besides Ramadan and so on. So he will be called upon from the 8 gates. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Certainly, Abu Bakr, and I hope that you will be one of them." Saying "I hope that you will be one of them" is actually a bishara, a glad tiding that Abu Bakr as-Siddiq will be one of those whom will be called upon from the 8 gates to enter Al-Jannah because he excelled in every field. Is it only Abu Bakr? He said, "You will be one of them," which means there will be others as well. I love the question because of this reason. When people are zealous and they have the high concern that I want to be amongst those people. Now I'm exempt from fasting because of my chronic ailment. Am I being deprived from enter Al-Jannah from the gate of Ar-Rayyan because I cannot fast and it is not my fault? Before answering this specific question with yes or no, I'd like to share with you some very interesting hadith which will give you big hint of comprehending this matter. First of all, in a sound hadith narrated by Abu Kabsha al-Anmari radiyallahu anhu, he said, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, people are in this life one of 4 people. You, me, and every human being are one of these 4 categories. The first category, as the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, عبد رزقه الله مالا وعلما فهو يتقي فيه ربه ويصل فيه رحمه ويعلم لله فيه حقا فهذا بأفضل المنازل. A servant whom Allah the Almighty bestowed upon him wealth and knowledge. He's very rich and very knowledgeable. Here we're talking about what knowledge? The knowledge which will enable him to recognize Allah's rights in his wealth, will enable him to dispense this wealth in a legitimate way, in a way that pleases Allah the Almighty. We're not talking about being a scientist, we're not talking about being an astronomist, talking about, you can be all of that, but meanwhile, you are knowledgeable concerning the deen, what Allah expects from you, what to do and what not to do. So this person is blessed with these 2 great favors, wealth and knowledge. Accordingly, he recognizes that this wealth is an amana, so Allah has rights in it, his relatives have rights in it, and the poor have rights in it, and he dispenses it in a way that pleases Allah. The outcome of this behavior is, as the Prophet ﷺ said, فَهُوَ بِأَفْضَلِ الْمَنَازِلِ. He will have the greatest status in this dunya and in the hereafter. He's the best of the best. Allah is very happy with him. He is blessed in the dunya with both wealth and knowledge, and he will be blessed in the hereafter by being of the best of those who shall enter paradise. The second is a man whom Allah blessed with knowledge, but he deprived him from this wealth which he has given to the first category. Okay, so he says, I promise, if I were to have that much money like the first person, I would do like him or even more. So he doesn't envy him in a bad sense that he likes his Mercedes, or he likes his nice house in the nice neighborhood. No, he says, I wish I was as rich as him, to be like him, charitable, helpful, to assist those who are in need. So that's a good intention. Accordingly, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَهُمَا فِي الْأَجْرِ سَوَاء فَهُوَ بِنِيَّتِهِ فَأَجْرُهُمَا سَوَاء. This person and the first person would receive the same reward because of the intention. I don't have the money, but I intended that if I have, I would do like this person or even more. So, فَهُمَا فِي الْأَجْرِ سَوَاء. The reward will be similar. The third is a person who's been blessed, or you may say tested with plenty of wealth, but with no knowledge. فَهُوَ يَخْبِطُ فِيهِ فِي مَالِهِ بِغَيْرِ عِلْمٍ. He is messed up. He is wasting his money in ways that doesn't please Allah the Almighty. He may drink, he may attend parties, he may go to the nightclub. He's having plenty of wealth, but he's wasting this wealth. And he doesn't give anyone the due rights, neither the poor, nor relatives, nor Allah the Almighty. Accordingly, the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said that فَهُوَ بِأَخْبَثِ الْمَنَازِلِ. That is the worst case scenario. And that is the worst deed. Then, the fourth category is a man whom Allah did not give any wealth, no knowledge. So he is comparing himself and his condition to all the previous categories. And unfortunately, he picks on the third person, the one who's got plenty of wealth, but he's wasting his wealth in ways that do not please Allah the Almighty, rather upset Allah. So he says, I wish I was as rich as him. Why? I would every day spend the night in a different nightclub. I would have all the women I want. I would do this and this and that. So even though without having the wealth to execute his evil intent, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَهُوَ بِنِيَّتِهِ فَوِزْرُهُمَا سَوَاء. Because of his evil intention, he shall bear a similar sin. Why? Because he intended, if he were to have that much money, he will do the evil like him or more. So, we understand from this hadith that sometimes a person wishes to do good deeds, but because of being unable to do it, he will be still rewarded for it. This is not the only hadith in this regard, brothers and sisters. There are a couple more hadith, such as in a beautiful hadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, من أتى فراشه وهو ينوي أن يقوم فيصلي من الليل فغلبته عينه حين يصبح حتى يصبح كتب له ما نوى وكان نومه صدقة عليه من ربه. That's another lovely hadith. If somebody made an intention to get up to pray, night prayer for instance, he set up his alarm, he went to sleep early, he made wudu, he lied down. He recited his adhkar, but he never woke up. His alarm went off and he never paid attention to it. He silenced it, then he went to sleep back. He didn't even feel it. He was completely knocked down. You know what the Messenger of Allah, peace be upon him, said in this regard? What the man did, he intended to get up to pray at night. He's got the same reward. But he overslept, he never got up. The Prophet ﷺ said, his sleep is a gift from Allah to him. Maybe he needed to rest. It's like, a charity. Let him sleep. You wanted to get up to pray for the reward, you got the reward, sleep. But he didn't pray. Because of what? Because of the intention. As I said, there are more and more hadith in this regard. Perhaps we'll take one more hadith, and I'm giving myself a chance to take my time to answer this question because it is of a great importance, brothers and sisters. Great importance. One of my students in the United States, once she started practicing and she learned the merits of fasting, she was very eager to fast, but she had to take a medication on regular basis, otherwise she would have seizures and be in very bad shape. So I told her repeatedly that, hey, you're exempt. You don't have to fast at all. You will get the reward. You just feed one miskin. As Allah the Almighty said, the fidya is to feed one miskin per each day. But she wanted to still fast. And it was very problematic. Believe it or not, she used to take the pill without water. And she says, I know that I'm not fasting. I know that it doesn't count, but it makes me happy that at least I'm sharing with the believers their fasting. So I assured her family if this is what she wants, but sister, you are not fasting. She said, I'm going to still give the fidya and all of that. What I'm trying to say is, sometimes the person is really sincere in his or her intent to the point that they want to do anything in order to observe this ibadah, in order to get this much reward. You will get it. Because you are not able to do it for a reason which is out of your control. You did not choose to do it. So you will get the same reward. And by that, brothers and sisters, we've come to the end of today's edition of your program, Fatawa. Until next time, I leave you all in the care of Allah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.